Hey guys, TechPilot's here. So a couple of days ago, Samsung unveiled their new Galaxy Note 8, and when I first looked at it, I thought it was an S8 Plus because both Note 8 and S8 Plus have the same dimensions, and the Note 8 had a bit of sharp edges, unlike the S8 which has curved edges. But let's keep this for the video. Here are my general first impressions. Enjoy. So the most important thing about a smartphone is the CPU behind the hood. The Note 8 has the Snapdragon 835 chip with the Adreno 540 GPU with Vulkan API, so I'm excited how it's gonna perform in benchmarks later on. And it has
6 gigabytes of RAM,
which are a lot for a smartphone. Anyways, it has storage options of 64 gigabytes, 128 gigabytes, and 256 gigabytes, unlike the Samsung Galaxy S8 with only 64 gigabytes and an expansion slot for more storage. The Note 8 also has an expansion slot for more storage. The Note 8 also has the 3300 milliamp hour battery. It's a bit in the mid-range between small and large. I don't know how the battery is gonna last in usage. That only can be known by someone who already knows the phone or by someone watching how the phone consumes battery life. And let's hope it doesn't explode
our butts
again, because if Samsung didn't learn the lesson, I'm sorry, but I'm never gonna buy a Note Samsung phone ever. I don't want my butt to explode, literally, again. Anyways, it has a 6.3 inch 1440p display, which is humongous. I mean, it's larger than my phone, and you're gonna have real trouble reaching some corners with this phone unless you use, of course, two hands. But people like me with this palm, it's gonna be literally hard, really hard to reach the corners, the top corners of the phone. So when Samsung unveiled the phone with that huge display, they knew they could take use of that humongous 6.3 inch display. They had a new feature called split view, which isn't new. It was in Samsung phones since the Galaxy S4, and this time on the Note 8 it will be really effective because you can use that feature when the phone is in landscape mode, and having that huge display with two windows is gonna be really good for productivity. So that's a plus with the Note 8. The Note 8 has two dual cameras on the back because when the S8 was unveiled, it only had one camera, and the camera is the exact same on the S7. So Samsung didn't make any change in the cameras between the S8 and between the S7 and the S8. But I think Samsung fixed the problem with the Note 8. The Samsung Galaxy Note 8 has two 12 megapixel cameras on the back. The main one has an aperture of f1.7, so it's gonna be really good to take photos in low light with this camera because it's a really high aperture. You also, in the second 12 megapixel camera, you have an aperture of f2.4, so that won't be really good in taking photos. The second one also has twice the focal length from the first one, so you're gonna get this 2 times optical zoom, and both cameras on the back have optical image stabilization, so whenever you're zoomed in which camera, you're gonna have that smooth footage whenever with the modes you have on your phone. And in the camera app on the Samsung Galaxy Note 8, you have a feature called Live Focus. It's the same feature on the iPhone 7 Plus, which is called depth effect. It just blurs the background just like this behind me. I'm using a DSLR, not a Note 8, but it blurs the background behind me. That's called the depth effect. But the Galaxy Note 8 has that feature, but unlike any other phone, you can change how much blur there is behind the person you're taking the photo of. There's a slider on the phone, you can change the amount of blurriness behind the subject. it's artificial blur, so it's not the real depth effect like on the SLRs. The iPhone 7 Plus has the same effect, but you don't have the option to change the amount of blurriness behind the subject you're taking photos of. So when you're taking a photo with the second camera with the 2x optical zoom, the phone will automatically take the photo that you want and another photo with the 1x optical zoom, which is the first camera. So when you're in the gallery, you can change between the photo that you want with the 2x optical zoom and another photo with the wide angle lenses, which is the first main camera, and it shows you things out of the frame from the photo you have originally taken of. I don't know how that's gonna be effective. I mean, it's a nice feature, but I'm sure that it's gonna take a lot of storage space. But I think, and I'm sure that you can change or turn that feature off so you could save up some storage in your phone. So the rear cameras take video at 4K 30 FPS, 1080p at 60 FPS, and 720p at 240 FPS for selfie freaks and usually
woman.
The front-facing camera has a resolution of 8 megapixels, or takes photos at 8 megapixels. Anyways, it has an aperture of a whopping f1.7, which is the first phone which has a great low light experience in the front-facing camera. It's one of the first phones which has such a huge aperture, so that's a really good plus for taking selfies at night or not really in dark places. And it also records 1440p at 30 FPS. So the Note 8 now has the iris scanners just like the S8, but for people wearing glasses like me, and I'm sure there's a lot of people wearing glasses like me, they won't be able to use the iris scanners unless they take off their glasses. So that's gonna be a hassle for almost everybody who wears glasses, and I think Samsung didn't learn the lesson again. The fingerprint sensor is right next to the camera lenses, just like the S8, and when you're not looking at the back and using the phone to unlock it, it's gonna be really hard to differentiate between the camera lenses and the fingerprint sensor. So the same problem from the S8 has been just thrown away to the Note 8. And because the phone is 6.3 inches, something like that, it's humongous. And when holding the phone from the bottom, and for people who have little hands like me, it's gonna be really hard to reach the fingerprint sensor unless you just like hold the phone in a weird alien-like way. Anyways, conclusion time then. The Note 8 is just an S8 with a pen and 2 cameras. That's basically it. That's what I thought from my first glance. And the fact that it won't explode is good, because when the Note 7 came out, it was like the best phone out there, but a couple of weeks later the first phones started exploding, and Samsung asked their consumers or their customers to give back the phones. They gave them new phones again, and the new phones exploded, so nobody trusted the Note 7 after that. And it's still being sold, by the way. It's called now Fan Edition. I don't know why. Samsung is risking people's lives again. Anyways, the Note 8 is a flagship Samsung phone now. It's better than the S8, obviously, because it's new cameras, and the features on the S8 are now on the Note 8, so you're not losing anything with the Note 8, you're only gaining new stuff. And it's gonna be a really good phone unless it explodes again, and God help me please, I don't want my butt to explode again. So guys, if you liked this video, give it a like. If you dislike it, close the video, don't dislike it please. Subscribe for more videos like these. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next one.